Good morning and welcome to Coffee Conversations. My name is Heidi Ellsworth and I'm a partner with Roofers Coffee Shop, and we are so proud today to have two of the most brilliant roofing ladies on the show with us today talking about technology. I want to welcome Karen Edwards, who not only is the executive director of RT3 Roofing Technology Think Tank, but she's also the editor of Roofers Coffee Shop. So she wears many hats, yay! And it's so fun to finally have her on Coffee Conversations. And I am really excited to welcome back Wendy Marvin with Matrix Roofing out of Vancouver, Washington. And Wendy is on the board of RT3. And so she has been incredibly active, and not only with ideas and helping to lead RT3, but she's also been very active in incorporating as a roofing contractor. So we are excited today to talk about that, talk about how to bring technology into your roofing business, and also just kind of some of the things, what we see, where we're going. And we're really excited to bring a lot of different people on with Q&As, questions on how to bring technology into their business, how to get involved in Roofing Technology Think Tank, and also just to kind of share some of their war stories on technology, especially with COVID and everything that's going on. We all have our hands full and we need technology more than ever. So this is going to be a great morning. Before I turn it over and start asking some awesome questions to Karen and Wendy, I want to remind all of you that this is all about you. So this is questions and answers. I hope you all have your coffee, and if you look on your panel, you can ask questions and we will bring you on. You can either come on with, we can read your question, you can come on audio, or you can come on video. And who makes all that magic happen in the background? Megan Ellsworth. So watch for Megan, our podcast producer, and chat with her in the background through the chat or through the questions, whatever works best for you. And then we'll get you on the show with your questions. So ladies, are you ready?
Thanks for having us.
Awesome. Okay. I know I gave a little bit of an introduction, but Karen, can you start out and just kind of introduce yourself and share your history in the roofing industry and with RT3?
Sure. So I'm Karen Edwards, and I am the editor at Roofers Coffee Shop, but I'm also the director at RT3, the Roofing Technology Think Tank. I have worked in the roofing industry specifically for about 20 years. Started out in Carlisle with Heidi many years ago, and then moved on to Eagleview, and now have my own business where I do I help people in the industry with marketing, and I'm the director at RT3, like I said. And this organization was started in 2016 by a group of forward-thinking industry leaders who recognize the need for the roofing industry to become more, to use technology more. That, you know, the roofing industry is typically kind of behind, even construction as a whole. It feels like we're always last to the table. And this group of professionals said, we need to get together, we need to study, we need to learn, and we need to help get that message of technology out into the industry.
Yeah, and you and I were there together on that when we first started with some key people in the industry who were just like, what are we going to do? And remember that first time in Chicago, and we didn't even know really what all to call it. And we thought, this is a think tank. This is what we need to do. We need to bring all this technology together. And it wasn't too much after that Wendy, you joined. So tell us a little bit about yourself, your business, how you got involved.
So I founded a roofing company back in 2007, and we were primarily residential. Kind of started just because of bad customer service, and recognized that it was something we wanted to do different. We've grown our industry. We're now doing roofing and home solutions. So now I have interior handyman services in Vancouver, and you know, I love our industry. I founded the company again just because we needed a vehicle to have a business and do some different things. But what I found in our industry is just this amazing group of professionals. And I'm so honored to just be around you guys sometimes. It's just like, oh yeah, I've been here for 35 years and I'm doing all these things. And it's like, what other industry can you say that about anymore? It's crazy. And I jumped on the RT3 think tank. Was a no-brainer. It was a group of industry rock stars. You guys don't give yourself enough credit. And it was an opportunity to, to what I felt like was to speak to our industry, to help with advancements, to look at an industry that is kind of predominantly conservative and try to help people move along through, some scary things that are changing and growing. And love the group, love the people, love being plugged in. I've learned so many silly little things that I have helped my business with just by being around these people. So it's been a great opportunity.
I have to tell you, I feel the same way. I learn something every single time. I mean, there are so many amazing software companies involved. There are so many different manufacturers, distributors. I mean, it really is, has brought such thought leaders together from the industry, from all different parts. And with the whole idea of bringing technology back in and finding things outside where maybe we can help bring them into the industry. So, you know what, Karen, talk a little bit about, you know what, I'm going to switch up the questions just a little bit, but talk a little bit about that. I mean, what's some of the things you're seeing with membership where they're looking outside the industry? I'm thinking of Michelle with the translator. How are they bringing those things into the industry and then sharing it through RT3?
Yeah, it's kind of what we do when we do our live in-person meetups. We're not necessarily at a place that is in the roofing industry. We have been. We were at OMG. We had planned to be at SECA, but that fell through in the last spring. But when we went to Microsoft, we spent time at their innovation lab, and we got to see things that they were working on for Boeing that can do facial mood detection, whether you're angry, whether you're sad, whether you're, we saw different sensors. And so then after we tour, we learn, we get educated on something, we go back and we brainstorm and we say, how can this apply in roofing? How could we use this in the roofing industry? And that's, Michelle Boykin, if you're on, hi, I hope you are. They were our Innovator of the Year last year, Rackley Roofing. And she is their chief integrator and is always looking for something some new technology or something that can make their business better, more efficient, make it easier, safer. And they used these translator pods that, one person wears one and another wears the other one. There, Wendy has them. Okay, awesome. And that's how she found out about it, was from Michelle. And it speaks, you can set what language it is and you speak and the other person can understand you because it translates in real time. There is a slight delay, but Wendy, have you tried it?
We love it. So this is the earpiece that you put in your ear, and then this is the piece, charging, and then you download some software that you put on your phone. And the only time I ever have any issues with it is when when we're using multiple, like large groups, it has a hard time with multiple conversations, but it's crazy to have that piece in your ear, having a conversation. And, our employees, I have non-English speaking employees, and we're always having to have meetings and translate and do these different things. And it's really breaking some barriers for us. It's been great. And Michelle is exactly where I heard about it from.
Wendy, and take that one step further, because what sometimes we think, when we think about technology, we think, oh, it has to be big things, robots, the cloud, all these different things. Sometimes it's as simple as seeing something on Amazon that you think, hey, that might work to help our business better. So talk a little bit about that incorporation of technology into your business and how, kind of this think tank is able to bring all these ideas together.
I think the biggest key to me for the think tank is you can see things on Amazon, but there's always that, is that really going to work for me? Mm-hmm. And what you have on the RT3 group are kind of a group of industry professionals who have done this stuff. And so, when Michelle talked about the translators, I was like, which one did you use? And she told me. And when we talk about things like, the meetup that we had at Microsoft with Ken Kelly, which program did you choose and why? And so I think that those connections are really important. It can be something as simple. I know during the pandemic, one of the things we added was a online program called Sweet Process. And all it is a online login system to be able to document policies and procedures. And, we've been doing it by hand. We've been writing them out. I've got four people working on them, and we're trying to share documents and make sure we have the most updated content and everything. And it's like, now we have a website, we log in. I can log changes that need to be logged. Somebody else can change them. They can comment on the ones that I've made. Hey, this part of the process doesn't work. Maybe that way, let's add this. And so, there's so many opportunities out there to streamline, because I think that's the key right now is, we need to efficiently run the inside of our business so that the outside of our business can get started. And then there's even technology hitting out there that you think, oh, there isn't really much we can do on a roof that they can change. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot coming. The other things we've bought on Amazon have just been, we link our printers. We've got computerization. And that sounds silly for some people, but for some people in our industry, like, they're still struggling with computers and things. And so it's just a trusted group of advisors that you can go to say, how does this work? What do you think? Would you recommend it doing it a different way?
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about it is that it is all parts of the industry. I know I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but sometimes okay, so let's talk real quick, Karen, about 3M. I mean, 3M was just so inspirational to all of us on so many different levels. Who would have known? I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it that way, but I really didn't. I just thought 3M, cool, but I had no idea. So share a little bit about that and the ideas that came from it.
That was amazing. We spent the RT3 does 2 to 3 live, we call them live meetups. And I know the cat's playing in the background, so enjoy a little bit of kitty love this morning. I can see him. So we think big. We said we want to be at Microsoft. We want to be at 3M. How innovative are they? And we went into 3M through Maureen Kavanaugh, who works in the roofing granule area, and we spent the day there. We toured their world of innovation, which was incredible. And we learned about all the different things that they do. And it's true that anywhere you are, you're within 5 feet of a 3M product. I mean, if you're at your desk right now and you have Post-it notes sitting on your desk, there's a 3M product there. But what we were able to do, we heard from a couple of their folks about things that they are working on and what they've done, and then we went into our brainstorming mode. And what was cool about being at 3M is that they are a company that allows their team to spend 15% of their time working on new ideas and new innovations. And so we came up with, a big long list that we gave to Maureen, and we said, here's your 15%. What if that 3M could make a film that would go over skylights that could support the weight of a human body and prevent falls? What if, so we just said the sky is the limit. We put all these things out there, and then we've got this list to share with them. And who knows, maybe something will come out of that.
Yeah, from that think tank. And I mean, look at the things that 3M has come out, because I think a lot of times when we talk technology, people are thinking software, they're thinking computers, they're thinking phones, whatever it may be. But there are technologies out there right now that are literally saving our world, like the smog resistant or smog eating, however you say it the right way, granules from 3M, so that's a new technology that we learned a lot about, plus their safety gear. We ended up with their glasses. Their safety glasses are so cool, and the technology makes them comfortable, so people want to leave them on, right? Those ended up on every table at National Women in Roofing Day. It's just this group of people and how they come together really really does make a difference, and it spreads out further. We have John Williams, thank you so much, from Renaissance Roofing. He wants to make sure that we're going to email him some info on the translator unit. So we have his email, and John, we will. But Karen, let's talk a little bit about, okay, so we're chatting up and talking about all these cool things we're seeing out there. How do people on the website that you can now see, how do they find more information on this kind of stuff? Like, how do they find information on the translator?
Well, Heidi's showing this website, which just rolled out on, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. It's brand new. We had a website before. This is a remodel, because we want to develop this solutions directory. So Heidi, if you click on visit the directory on your screen, and this is just getting started, so you passed it. Yeah, it's right above there, right there, solutions directory. So visit the directory, and we're asking, we're working out a couple of kinks in the website right now. And when we feel we're ready, we're going to put the word out there, and we're going to say, hey, we want to know about the solutions that are out there. And if you move the screen a little bit, Heidi, you'll see the categories if you scroll down. So you can look through these and see there's a logo that didn't render. So these are the kinks we're working through. But if you are looking for things that fit in the category of job site productivity, you can see all the solutions there. And these cards are created to allow people to comment and talk about it and say, I've used this. This is great. This worked for me. Or, no, this was terrible. Why would anyone put it on this directory? I don't know. But we want it to be a resource, specifically for the roofing industry, that says, here are the solutions, here's how it worked. So, we'll have to ask Michelle maybe to add that translator solution up there. And yeah. I know she's also using the virtual reality for safety training. That might be something we want to add there. So we're building this out. We're going to open it up and invite the public to submit solutions, to comment on solutions that are out there, and hopefully grow this into a really nice resource for the roofing industry.
You can see how easy it is. Just leave reviews. I hope everybody leaves a very nice review for Roofers Coffee Shop, of course. But you can, this is where you can talk back and forth about what you're experiencing and what you're seeing with different technologies and different software. One thing that, and Karen is just incredibly humble, but I would really like to also recommend these posts. In fact, Karen, I'm going to be quiet for a second. Talk about really quick, you have all these blogs on here and they go into Smart Brief, right? Every week?
Yeah. So there's a newsletter, Smart Brief newsletter, comes out Monday and Wednesday, and it's a really good compilation of what's going on in construction, in roofing, and then the RT3 has a section at the bottom where we share our news, our articles, our information, and our blog, it has a lot of articles about what people are doing in the industry. There's, the Owens Corning partnership, and it's a place to find out quickly what's happening. And that newsletter is twice a week. I find it very interesting, but I might be a little biased. And you can sign up, go to the website, rt3thinktank.com, to sign up to get the newsletter and stay on top of what's going on. And I will mention too, Heidi, and I know we probably would talk about this a little later, but I think it's important to talk about the structure of RT3 a little bit. Mm-hmm. Because we are 501c6. We are small, and we've done this on purpose. We've limited our full membership, our corporate and individual membership, to 100 spots. That's it, because we want to be nimble. We want to be responsive. We want to be able to make decisions, do things on the fly. We don't want to be bogged down by a more formal structure. So that was done with a purpose. And then we have 25 additional spots. We have associations who are members. NRCA is a member, CRCA out of Chicago, ARCAL, Washington is a member, MRCA. So Western States, yeah. And those association members interact, attend our meetups, and then can take that information back to their associations and share. And one of the things, because we are small and we're nimble and we're fast, when the pandemic first hit in March and shut everything down, our board said, what, you know, we're kind of like deer in the headlights. What is going on? We don't know. And we said, we need to pull our contractors together and share with the industry. We had Trent Cotney on our panel, Steve Little from K-Post, who is a member as well, Ken Kelly from Kelly Roofing. And we pulled together this webinar in a matter of 3 days, I think, and sent it out to the industry and had over 500 people sign up and 400 and some attend, because people were just what do I do? What do I do? Are they shutting down job sites? Am I allowed to work? And it was so well received. We actually did 3 of them in 3 weeks in a row. And those, if you didn't see them, they are available on our website too. They're posted on our blog and on our YouTube channel that you can go back and watch. But then the rest of the industry kind of caught up with us and started doing their own webinars. You know, Beacon, GAF, and the distributors and whatnot were doing. So we stopped because we said, okay, the industry's getting what they need from all the other people in the industry, and we did our part by blazing that trail, so to speak. I think that.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry.
That there was such a need for that information so quickly that we actually developed a new level of membership because we want to stay at 100 and with the 25 association spots, but we want to be able to interact more with the industry and get involved. So the board created a membership level called a community membership, and what that gives pretty much the same perks as regular full members. There's just no voting rights, and they don't attend live meetups, but they do attend virtual meetups, and we have virtual meetups typically on normal times, 3 times a year. We have shifted our in-person to virtual, as most other people did. And our community members are invited to those. And that is in October. I know I'm talking a lot, so stop me if you have a question. In October, we did an extended meetup, 90 minutes, and we did some breakouts. And, you know, we looked at what does the industry need now? If we were to want to pursue a technology project or funding, what would we do? So we're exploring those kind of things, and we invite the community, the rest of the industry, to consider becoming a community member. You get added to our Slack channel, you get to come to the virtual meetups. It's an opportunity, like Wendy says, just to hang out with some brilliant minds and pick up useful tidbits that you don't even realize that you're going to get by being part. And it's only $250 a year to be a member. It's not expensive.
Well, you know what, I really kind of want to take that, what you just said, Karen, and I want to shift that over to Wendy, because Wendy, I'd love for you to kind of talk about the value you see for your business, for you personally and professionally. Just talk about the Slack channel. I mean, you're so good in the Slack. I'm not so good. I'm trying, but you know, we have all different, very, you know, from really great interactive, but there's just so much between the website and the Slack. And so maybe, first of all, explain what Slack is for those people out there right now are like, what in the heck are you talking about? And then second of all, how you're using it for your business.
Slack is just a live feed channel, basically, that allows you to push information out to people and communicate with each other. And you can make you can make different categories, but you know, our main Slack channel, people find amazing things and they push it out to the group, and then we have a little discussion about it. A lot of times in especially our group, somebody somewhere will say, oh my gosh, I've already used that. Here's what I'm finding. Here are some things to, you know, ways that I didn't realize it was going to impact my business. One of the things that came up is somebody mentioned something with Elle and I when we were talking about technology, and it sparked me to remember that, you know, we've got a state Keep It Work program that we participate in, and we keep our guys on salary if they have a light injury and they stay at work. And we were talking about ways to increase technology and monies that might be available for things. And I went, wait a minute, somebody said something somewhere in our group talking about labor and industries has the availability for funds to help supposedly buy computers to keep these guys working in the office. Well, then we were talking about the VR glasses. And so that transitioned into talking about, somebody that's being kept at work is a valuable employee. They're just not being used in the capacity that they really contribute. And there are dumb things like some people have them count pieces of paper just to keep them busy. Well, what if you gave that guy a set of VR glasses and then had your guy out in the field that might be new and not as experienced, but he gets to be on a roof working while your guy is on the desk, stuck, but feeling useful because now they can talk to each other. Your guy on the desk can see what the guy in the field is doing and say, hey, don't do this, do that, move this, do that. And just those silly things are just the most amazing ways to collaborate. And so, then I would have the ability within Slack to send a message to Michelle Boykin if I wanted to say, hey, what are you guys finding at Rackley that, program wise, how's that working? So it's just an instant channel communication model that really helps keep everybody in touch. We don't use Slack in our own business, but I use Teams and a very similar app where we set up chat channels. What's beneficial about those types of environments is you can categorize. So if you want to talk about a project that you are working on, you can keep that channel all by itself. And so you're working on the Chambers project, whatever, then all of those notes and all of that information is there for anybody that's in the field, working from home, working remotely. Oh my gosh, how many people are working remotely right now and we didn't plan for that. And we're all on the same page, and you can scroll back and look at the notes previously so you don't have to go back to Heidi and go, Heidi, what did we say about that so-and-so? Or try to find an email that, out of your 5 million emails. So yeah, it's another tool to be able to use within your business.
And the thing about Slack that is cool for RT3 is that you do have to be a member or be part of the community group to be into Slack. And so that's a benefit in that you are going to be able to, some of you are asking questions saying, how do we do all this? How do we get this information? Well, that's one way, but it's also obviously totally free and open to, our whole goal is to disseminate information about technology into the industry. And we do that through the website, through Smart Briefs, through Roofers Coffee Shop, through all the other publications, roofing publications. We're constantly putting information out there. So if you want to just get a little bit more in depth and you want to be able to chat directly with Wendy or with other people who are doing things, then that's really where that Slack channel and that kind of being able to be in there gets a job. We also obviously have the RT3 forum on Roofers Coffee Shop. So just so many ways to really ask questions and get involved.
I want to mention too, the new podcast that we launched. It's been just about a year. Ryan Gross is one of our board members from Sales Transformation Group, and he is the host of the podcast. And the format is he's been looking at highlighting a technology solution, but not from the perspective of the solution provider, from the perspective of contractors. So he'll have some contractors on who are talking about their experience with it, how it helped, what they did, and then that helps to educate kind of from a third party perspective. So it's not just that solution provider saying, oh, hey, we're great, you should use us, and here's why. It's hearing from actual contractors who have used the solution. So that's another way. The episodes are about 30 minutes max long, so great to listen to during your drive or in your morning while you're having your coffee,
all those good times. So, and I love this. Wendy, you sparked the questions. So we have Emery Smith, who, thank you, Emery, for being on. We always love having you here. Said VR collaboration on site, genius.
Great, yeah.
And then we have Steve Rice, who has a question. Now, Steve, I'm not sure if you want to come on live. It's kind of up to check with Megan. We can either read your question to Wendy, or we can bring you on live if you would like to visit. So I'm not gonna read your question yet because I'm gonna find out what you want to do.
Let me throw something out there while we're waiting on him. I know that technology can be really scary. You know, if you're starting as a brand new roofer or a small business and you're trying to figure out all of this, sometimes looking at this stuff is overwhelming. And, I will tell you, I'm 13 years in business and I get overwhelmed sometimes with our team because she mentioned, K-Post Roofing, they roof the Dallas Cowboy Stadium. Okay. So, we're in another level in those things, but these people are probably the most giving, wonderful, I'll do anything to help you group of people. And, and if you're starting out and you're brand new, I'm probably the kid that's going to be the help for that kind of stuff. And, if you're looking at just how to set up an email system, we can help with that too. Like, this is not just about the world of technology that can overwhelm you. This is about taking those baby steps to help that we've all been through, but to help you get your business on this path. And
Yes.
I think that's important to know because there's a lot, there's the whole gamut of the world of the roofing industry is in this group.
And it's roofing professionals helping roofing professionals, contractors helping contractors. Everybody kind of, there's no catch. It's like they're just truly helping. So it looks like we have Steve Rice. Steve, you, as a panelist, so you want to come on with your audio or video?
He has no way to speak at the moment. So if you want to just read the question.
Okay, perfect. That's exactly what we needed. So when a field employee is on the roof, what do you use to stream the video to the employee in the office with the VR headset? Wendy?
It's Wi-Fi. Yeah, it's set up on Wi-Fi. So the phone system now, my system is not fully up and running yet. So just fair warning, again, I'm still in that setup stage, but it's a phone system setup where you've got your glasses, and then you either download an app to your phone or you do streaming from your phone so that you have that access. And then there's a secondary same app that you would log into online. Microsoft is the one that that we've heard the most about in the system. And so yeah, it's just like using your cell phone.
And the other day when we were on the call with Tom with harness, he actually had the glasses on, and they looked just like
a pair of safety glasses, and that's
but what Tom had on were ANSI, safety glasses approved, and that had like built-in computer, like you could see the computer in the glasses. It's crazy, and and they're not that expensive.
There are glasses where you could have like your earpiece in for your phone, and then the glasses that Tom was talking about had a camera in them, and then also the computer side, but the camera so that you're talking. But the VR thing we're talking about, and this is where it gets messy for roofing a little bit, is all encompassing, covering your vision field to start with. That's the older technology, and literally you can put things on the screen and move them, and the person in the office can make visual marks on what you're looking at to circle an area or do things. Those are two different technologies. But again, it's like, hey, I'm interested in this technology. What do you think I should start with? Because if you talk about VR, $2,000 to $3,000, we're talking about a pretty good chunk of change. But if you talk about those glasses, what did Tom say, $800?
Yeah, it wasn't as much as the
and I know another person who's using them pretty besides Rackley, who's using them, Rackley Roofing, which was the innovator of the year last year. They're using them for safety and for safety training.
Yeah.
But the other person I know who is using those is Ken Kelly with Kelly Roofing out of Florida.
Ken is another level of technology.
Another level with the glasses and the Microsoft integration. And so pretty crazy.
But think about this. Here's a silly solution. So how many times have you FaceTimed with your phone? How many times have you used the virtual Facebook app with your phone to talk with a family member? You can do the same thing on the roof, right? So here's not a $3,000 solution. Here's a solution you use every day, but you're not thinking about using it in that manner. So now get your guy in the office on the phone, have him FaceTime the guy that's on the roof, and they can do virtually the same thing. It's not, it's not as slick and whatever, but there are ways to use the existing technology that we have, and it's not as expensive too to get you to that point.
Wendy, you're so Doug Keller, thank you so much. He's on here right now, and he's just saying the exact same thing you are. As a simple way of getting real-time information short of VR glasses, you can set your people up with a Zoom account, right? Yep. Or FaceTime, however that works, on their phone. They just switch the camera to the backside, and they can connect with the office, and they can see exactly what the person is seeing on the roof, as well as talk to them. That's what we're talking about. Think tank, how do we do it all these different levels, and how do we start bringing it in? I do have someone who's going to be coming on to ask a question. Super excited about this. So Megan, do you want to bring on Lee Lipniskis from Core out of Colorado, Denver, Colorado? Yeah.
Yes.
Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Hi, Lee.
Welcome to Coffee Conversations.
Thank you. So Wendy, I have a question for you. So the RT3 webinar about COVID was super successful. What are some other educational opportunities through RT3 for contractors?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think the main one we're focusing right now are the podcasts, and just trying to engage more people and even more sponsors, just people to recognize that, there's a ton of people out there who want information. And so we're looking for cross platforms, which is interesting. If you're talking about, we try to stay in our lane. We've got roofing and the roofing products and other things, but you know what? There might be an architectural framing product that would work. And so those are good things on it. And the post, the big thing for me is RT3's blogging and posts. I read them. I can't say that about a lot of things. So I'm always learning new information. I'm always learning about new technology through that. I don't know, Karen, is there anything else you can think of that's coming up other than
if you've been to the IRE, the International Roofing Expo, you're on Informa Hanley Wood's email list, and they started a newsletter this year, and RT3 contributes, I think it's twice a month, their newsletter comes out, and we have an article in once a month. Look for that. You probably sign up for it on the Roofing Expo's website when you sign up for updates. And I think this month's article, it was about wearable technologies and how they're being used in the roofing industry. So we're always trying to educate in multiple ways. And when we get back together in person at the events, we usually submit to speak and bring some contractors together for a panel. We don't always get selected because there's always a lot of choices, but when we do, we've been able to educate people that way as well.
Well, and one of the things when we go back to live events sometime in probably 2021, hopefully. 2021. One of the things, and this was the brainchild of Mike Davis with East Fork, is that he wants to start doing pop-ups at the different trade shows. So where basically everybody would give their cell phone, and we'd have a group chat, and they would say, hey, we're popping up at the Circle Bar, come check it out. We're going to talk technology, we're going to share ideas, and we're going to do things for the community members, for the RT3 members, for basically, just kind of doing these little pop-ups. So instead of it always, and that kind of goes back to that nimble, flexible thing that Karen was talking about, instead of having everything so organized, well, it's all organized, but I should say structured, that we are able to do these kind of pop-ups. And so Lee, that is, and you're always there, we know that. And so those are great opportunities. We did have Kim Ashcraft ask, what's the name of the podcast? How do they find it on their channels, Karen?
Good question. It's the RT3 podcast. If you or whichever service you use, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple. Just search for, you can search for RT3. You may have to spell it out, Roofing Technology Think Tank, and it should show up.
RT3 podcast brings it up.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. RT3 podcast.
Yeah, you can find it. We have links on the partner podcast page on Roofers Coffee Shop for RT3 podcasts. Yes. So you can, it
should be in our directory. Is it in our directory as well on Roofers Coffee Shop?
Yes, it is in our directory, a full directory with everything on there, so you can click through and get it. We try to, that's the beauty of all of this, is trying to get our whole mission of getting it out as many places as possible. So I know if you, like Roofing Contractor Magazine, they're doing a bunch of things right now with the awards, with their Best of Success series right now.
Yeah.
And so that it's there too. It's everywhere. So you'll find it. So Emery, I hear that you want me to read this, so I'm going to. Now, if you want to come on, just tell Megan. But Emery, Wendy, this is for you. Emery, Scope has great tools for helping young businesses with their daily challenges. Is there a way we could create a similar network of semi-retired roofing business leaders to assist young roofing companies? Or is it already in the works?
We've talked about it. Yeah, it's swimming out there. We've definitely talked about it. And I think what's interesting about our industry, worldwide, nationwide specifically, like I'm on the board of Western States also. And when you start to get plugged into our industry, we kind of already do that. You just have to ask. Like, nobody's going to search you out and say, hey, you look new, do you want to learn how to do, but if you try to get involved in the community, and that starts with your local groups that you can join. NRCA is a huge opportunity, but even up to the NRCA level, like I'm in Vancouver, Washington, right? I'm not Chicago. I'm not a huge, business. And I'm chatting up with the people from NRCA. I'm chatting up with Breed Ribble. I'm talking with, these people are real people who are so approachable and so nice. And then, yes, to her point, is we have talked many times about getting some type of council together or some type of a consulting group that, when you're new, because I chant this often, and it's funny, but it's not funny. Construction is filled with a lot of people who are very good at their trade, and they're not really great at business. And, when you look at an industry like ours that has an 80% failure in the first 5 years as a new roofing contractor, like, that's why we're here. That's why we're scared, and we want to help, and we want to make things better. But you got to reach out and plug in and recognize that you're not just a roofer. You're a business owner. You deserve the same respect that someone who is doing anything deserves as a business owner. And, you're a rock star, and you need to get plugged in. And when you get plugged in with the group, then you start getting those kinds of conversations that you go, holy moly, I didn't know I could do that. Or, I didn't know I was supposed to do that. Things that'll get you in trouble that you don't even know, like how you're handling deposits, or just silly things that you just pick up. The best thing you can ever do with this group, show up at the damn circle bar, pour yourself a drink, and don't say anything. Like, just sit back. Listen. And that's what I've been with you guys for the last 6-7 years, is just, I just listen when I'm there. And I just have learned so many little tidbits along the way. It's just awesome. So yeah, we're working on it. Hopefully we get there.
So in case anybody's wondering where the circle bar is, it's always at Western States. Western States.
Paris.
Yeah,
the Paris
Expo. And they do a fabulous job. They Wendy's, like she said, on the board. I'm on the advisory board. That is just a great group. So we, that's where you meet. But I do want to have a couple questions from Doug Keller. He can't come on, but there's a couple questions here. So, we already talked about the Zoom account. What is nice about using Zoom also is, if it is something like a repair and they're unsure of the location, the office or service manager can pull up the building. Hold on, Doug, I'm getting your question here. Can pull up the building and on something like Google Earth and share that screen and actually point or mark the location as they talk to the crew on the roof. So I think, that kind of takes me to also a number of the software providers. And so Doug, you're 100% right, because there is, obviously you're right, but there is a bunch of software companies out there now who are also doing that with their roofing applications, where they are taking the pictures on the roof, where they're geolocating, where they're pulling up aerial imagery or Google Earth. Wendy, just what are you using for that in the field to gather information and data?
I knew you were going to come to me on that. I was like trying to pull it up. Actually, we're still a little behind the times with that particular one. We're using Google Earth a lot. Eagle View, any of the local providers that do satellite imagery, obviously are pretty rampant in our group. We had a really neat discussion at our RT3 breakout, this last group, where we were talking about the use of, we had one of the people in our group, Maureen, who is a soccer mom, and they are using vests on the soccer field to track the movement and to look at strategically how the people who are playing soccer are executing the sports plan. Okay, so it's an aerial view or whatever, but it's looking at the movement of the organizations. We started having a conversation about how to use that software, which is completely unrelated to our industry. I'm going to say it was Vioxx, and give us the ability to track efficiencies on the roof, because we're looking at those kinds of things now when we're looking at cost savings and money and ways to keep your business alive, right? We're looking at accountability, because you can tell when they're on the roof and when they're not on the roof and when they arrive on site, but they're wearing a vest, and the vest just literally has a chip in it. And then they get on the roof, and then you can track movements. Well, then you bring your team back in house and you start talking about, okay, look, I'm talking about efficiencies here. Look at this, whatever over here. He's standing here and he's been here for 10 minutes. Get him involved, or tear off this section and then don't have to move the material. Tear off this section. Be ready for the material to be delivered on the roof in that area. Let's talk about efficiencies of how we're doing it. So we're a little behind. We're not using any of the on-roof cameras yet or anything like that, because it's expensive and it's clunky, and to be real with you, roofing guys break things a lot. so we wanted to look at another alternative, and there's another option that we're exploring right now, is that vest technology. So
that you found on the soccer field,
right? Yeah.
And so if anybody becomes a community member, you'll be invited to our February virtual, well, we have one in December, but our February one, I actually lined up a presentation from a company that has those trackers. It's not in a vest, it clips on a belt, and they're going to educate us on the technology, how it works, why it matters, and then some other solutions they're going to talk about as well for a company that maybe, like Wendy, isn't ready to take that step. He's going to talk about some other options that are available for contractors to consider. So we're looking forward to that in early February.
And you know what I love, and I'm just going to read this from Doug again. So Doug, we need to, next time we're going to get you on here. You just have some great comments, but it goes right to what you're saying, Wendy. He said most of the tools you need to do this, most people already have, and there is no minimum additional costs. There are always better, more efficient ways, but you can start with the tools you have, your phones, vests, figuring out, tracking people, all those things. I added that, Doug, sorry. Tools that you have, and make the changes from there that work best for you. The main thing is to start using the tools that you have more efficiently. And that's exactly what you're saying. This doesn't always have to be big dollars. It's like, remember, I know before COVID, everybody was like, phones are a terrible thing. People shouldn't be on their phones. Now it's like, you can't live without them. It was that way before COVID, but it is a whole different mentality. And I think Doug he's really spot on with this, on what everyone's saying.
I wanted to share that I just discovered the other day, I have an iPhone and it updated the iOS, and I was looking at my apps moved around, and that's because there's this app that showed up. I don't know, you guys can't see it, but it's a translator.
Oh.
And I can speak into this in English, and it speaks back in Spanish, exactly what I said. So anybody with an iPhone, try it out. I did.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah,
That's
there's
perfect.
an app I have too that's on Android that we've used. But again, it's just try to think about how you can do things differently. I think sometimes when you're so busy, like we're just coming out of that season, right? We're just coming out of that, oh my gosh, I can't breathe season. But when you're head down and you're just doing, use this COVID time That's what we've tried to do. But use this COVID time, use this winter to really kind of look at your business and think, how could I do that? And how could I do it differently? That might eliminate a couple steps that would make it more efficient, or that might, you just have to think through things. You have to think through what you're doing and how it could be different.
Yeah, and we have just a few from John Kenny with Cottney Consulting Group, which, by the way, we love Cottney. We love John. Thank you for being on. He said, love it, efficiency and accountability. That goes back to the VEST, but technology overall. I think that's really what we're talking about. And Emery also says, this conversation will revolutionize the tailgate safety meetings. We must use technology. So,
oh my gosh, safety apps, talk about that. Hello.
Yeah.
You know, COVID apps immediately. We have guys in the field that are doing their COVID compliance. They hit a button to say that they agree, they hit the address, it's done. And, you know, Tom with Harness has been a great one at that, with a little free apps all over the place. Yeah, safety is a big one you can use with that. And the documentation of what you did and when you did it.
Yeah, and you'll find a lot of that on here. Harness is on here, a lot of safety companies that are doing some amazing things. And I love it. Mary Shanker, so excited to see you on here. And she had a question, what is the actual name of the glasses? And so I don't know if we know that, but we could probably get it out there. Tom's glasses that he was showing us and some of the other VR.
Mary, get your
Microsoft
email. Do you know, Karen?
Yeah. I don't know, but I know the Microsoft version is called HoloLens, HOLO Lens, LENS. I don't know the name of the one that Tom had, but we can find out and let you know, Mary.
Yeah, we know how to find you, Mary, up there in Maine. So I want to kind of, we have just about 8 minutes left, and I wanted to talk just a little bit again about, and Wendy, maybe you can kind of wrap this up on how people can get involved, how people can really kind of start coming and being a part of RT3, and why as a contractor. I know we talked about it earlier, but I just think it's so important for to hear it straight from somebody who's seen such success as being involved in RT3.
Well, at this point, you definitely, I mean, no brainer, $250 a year, become a community member. You have to do that. We're almost at capacity for the full memberships, but you know, once you're a community member, then you're going to know if something comes available, if you want to transition into that next level, either, you know, as a company or individual. You know, I cannot tell you enough about the success of being around the right people. And having these people that, you know, like, you know, even Karen is just like one of my resources, like, hey, I'm seeing this in my marketing part. What do you think? And people help you. And, you know, if you don't think you need that, go back about 6 months from now, right? Like in March, holy moly, we were all reeling, and Karen touched it. We were all going, what the heck? What do we do? How do we survive? And as a business owner, I'm going, I have 25 employees. How am I going to keep them safe? How am I going to keep their families safe? How do I keep the freight train of herding cats of the Washington State who decided construction wasn't essential or whatever? And it was like, I was on the phone with Cottney. I had a letter in my trucks within the first day, and I wasn't working with him then. You know, he's a person I've met through this. I met him for the first time at our RT3 meetup up, I think it was the Microsoft one. And he just has free resources. He threw out a letter to me. The letter was in the truck because there was some ambiguity between non-essential and essential. The local association memberships, you know, you cannot put a value on the free resources and the steering you out of the wrong places that you will have with these people. And you know, again, it's $250 a year. My goodness, like that isn't even a blip on stop coffees for 2 months. Like seriously. So
yeah, and this is all nonprofit. I mean, this isn't a money maker.
No,
just paying to get it all out there. And
the consulting alone, I laughed about the Trent Cottney thing. Seriously, the Trent Cottney consulting is worth $10,000 to $20,000 in just freebies and watching him and other things. Not to mention, you know, the Ken Kellys of the world. Ken, I don't taking too much time, but Ken met us at Microsoft, and he is deep in Microsoft, and I'm talking hundreds of thousands deep. So, okay, never the level. But he talked about them having a hailstorm in Florida, and he was able to use satellite imagery to identify by zip code who had hail strikes. They had pictures and bids, and the canvassers went out to the field and sold roofs. Not a question. You have a hail strike on your roof. Here is your bid. When do you want us to fix it? And like, are you kidding me? Like, that's just another level. And that's all basic technology. That isn't anything, rocket science of stuff, but that's somebody with that mindset that you're going to have access to by becoming a member here. That is just, it's worth millions.
It is. And I have to tell you, if you don't want to be a member, that's cool, because you can get all this information on the website. You just don't get that one-on-one that Wendy's talking about, which is so cool. Although what Wendy said earlier, I think is so important, whether it's RT3 or Western States or NRCA. A shout out to Amy. She's on here. Thank you, from NRCA. And, whatever group, I mean, obviously you're here today with Roofers Coffee Shop and the resources we try to get out there. So anyone who's listening to this afterwards, this is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of what makes roofing great. This is the stuff that just kind of rocks our world and brings the roofing respect all the way around. So Karen, real quick, give them just in like a minute on what do they do? They go to the website. If they want to, if they're interested, how do they sign up?
Go to the website, scroll to the bottom of the page, and the 3 membership levels are there: the individual, the corporate, and the community. They just select community. Sign up now, that little button at the bottom of community. Hit sign up now. It'll take you to the page. You'll get signed up, and then you'll hear from me, and we'll get you set up in Slack and send you all the links and resources that you need, and the invitations to the upcoming virtual meetups and tech talks.
Yeah. And for any manufacturers or distributors who are out there right now listening to this, I'm just saying, this is a great marketing tool to give to your contractors. So
Come play with us.
Yeah, this would be great for your loyalty programs. So can't help get a little sales marketing in there whenever we are together. But thank you, ladies. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, Wendy, for being here today, for sharing this knowledge, and for everything you do for the industry, for your involvement, for bringing this and helping roofing to continue to just the professionalism of the trade, and everything that groups like RT3 bring to it. Just means the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Heidi.
Thanks for having us, Heidi.
Thank you. So I want to thank everybody for being on the show today. Again, Coffee Conversations. I mean, I could go for another hour on this topic. This is just the coolest thing. And surprise, surprise, in 2 weeks, we are going to be having Jennifer Stone and Renee Bells from National Women in Roofing on this same Coffee Conversations. Yes, I am treating myself to all my favorite people out there and organizations so that we can bring information to all of you through Coffee Conversations. And so talking about recruiting and retaining women into roofing, what National Women in Roofing is doing and some of their initiatives, it's going to be fabulous. It's going to be fabulous. I'm so excited to have those ladies on the show. That will be December 3rd, 6:00 a.m. Pacific, which I love and I get harassed about on a regular basis, but I'm so happy all of you are on here. Thank you, Wendy. I know it's we're on the same time zone. Yep. And so join us. You can listen to all of our Coffee Conversations under our Read, Listen, Watch section of the website, where you can read it, you can watch it, or you can listen to it anytime you want, however you want. Rooferscoffeeshop.com. I appreciate all of you. Thank you for being here today, and have a great day. Thanks.